Namaskar and good afternoon. So we are seeing you exactly after a year for our flagship event this afternoon. ਸਾਡੇ ਰਾਜਸਥਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ खम्मा खड़ी पधारो मारे देश। कहने का मतलब कि हमारे राजस्थान में कहते हैं खम्मा खड़ी पधारो मारे देश। अगर आप दक्षिण दिशा की ओर तमिलनाडु की तरफ बढ़ेंगे तो आपका हाथ जोड़कर वणक्कम कहकर स्वागत किया जाएगा। What I mean to say is, if you move towards the south to Tamil Nadu, you will be greeted with a warm vanakkam. अगर आप पश्चिम दिशा में बंगाल की ओर बढ़ेंगे तो आपका स्वागत बंगाली में शौगतो कहकर किया जाएगा। ते साडे पंजाब विच तुहानू सत श्री अकाल कह के गले लगाया जाऊगा। एक गल तो पक्की है कि देश भर विच तुसी जिथे भी जाओगे तुहाडा स्वागत प्यार नाल ही किया जाऊगा, बिल्कुल उसी तरह जिस तरह हम आपका स्वागत करना चाह रहे हैं टाइकॉन 2021 के लिए। What I mean to say is that no matter where you travel in India, you will always be warmly greeted just the same way. We are welcoming you with love and warmth this afternoon to the 6th edition of our annual flagship event, TiCon Chandigarh 2021. Namaskar and good afternoon. And given all that we've been throughout the year, throughout the past year, we thought it would be nice to deliberate upon how we can adapt, overcome, and innovate. And that is exactly what the theme of TiCon 2021 is: adapt, overcome, and innovate. After all, entrepreneurs are those people who fall down a cliff every day and build a parachute along the way, isn't it? And TI and everything surrounding it is indeed all about entrepreneurs and startups with a commitment to create an enabling entrepreneurial environment by bringing together various stakeholders under the same roof. I am Niharika with you, official anchor and MC for TiCon Chandigarh 2021, and it'll be my absolute pleasure to be with you for the next 3 days. Now, we have certain sessions which will be run in the main hall, like this one right now, particularly the keynote addresses. And each day, we also have parallel tracks after those keynote addresses, which will run together simultaneously. So you can choose the track of your liking and join the session that you would like to attend. And I would request you to stay glued because there are interesting masterclasses as well. Well, that's enough said for right now. Let me now take the pleasure to invite on the dais Mr. Hirdesh Madan, co-founder of Hit Bullseye and current president of TI Chandigarh. Over to you, sir. So let us have the current president of TI Chandigarh, Mr. Hirdesh Madan, address the audience. Over to you.
Thank you, Niharika. Welcome to the 6th edition of TiCon Chandigarh. In fact, it's great pleasure to be presenting to you this special edition of TiCon because first time that this is virtual and this is free. Trust me, I have been a part of last 6 TiCons and I have been in a core committee member. And TiCon has emerged as a brand, not just as a brand because simply we have spent money in publicity, but no. This has turned as a brand because it has touched people's lives. It has started giving that which was missing in Chandigarh. And I still remember when our President Mr. Ajay Tiwari announced in our meeting when we joined, we are going to have TiCon this year. And nobody had an idea what is TiCon. I said, okay, everybody excited. But trust me, 6 years down the line, after Ajay ji, we had JB sir, Alok Ram Sisaria ji, Sameer Jain ji, Munish jo. Every president has put in the kind of effort to make this event bigger and better. We are also trying our bit. And I'm very sure TiCon is going to be an impetus to the ecosystem what we need in the region. A lot of time I have come across you are from TiCon. So I feel good and bad because Thai brand is not that popular than TiCon is. And so I want to tell something people because a lot of people who may not be knowing about TI. So quickly, I will explain them what is TI. So TI is a global body of entrepreneurs and we started in 90s from Silicon Valley. Today we are 14 countries, 60 plus chapters. We are a truly global organization and we are a non-profit organization and we are a member voluntarily driven organization. The whole idea is how we can give back to the society God has been gracious enough to us, that we are able to reach at certain positions, and we want to give back to the society. And when the entrepreneurs grow, economy grows, I think everyone gets the benefit of it. And that's our bit we try to do from TIE, whether it's a funding, whether it's a incubation, whether it's a education, whether it's in networking. That's what we try to do. In fact, now we are funding also. The Thai Angel is coming very soon. So that's quick brief about TiECon. And Chai Chandigarh is a chapter which caters north of Delhi to the region. And we are present since more than 10 years. And so TiECon, any event is not possible without the active support of partners. Let me humbly thank Punjab government, because without the active support of Punjab government, not only support in terms of monetary, but guidance and discussions, we are able to pull off this kind of a massive event. And a special thank to Vinny Mahajan ma'am. Every year she has been personally helping us out. And this year, in our senior people from the team from Punjab, we have Alok, Shekhar sir, Sibin sir, Rajat sir, all people, everybody has given us that support which we required. And STPI has been, we have been working very closely with STPI. And I remember first TiECon when we had STPI had been since day one supporting us. Thanks STPI, thanks Omkar sir. And at local level, we have Ajay Srivastav ji. PTU, IKG PTU, Punjab Technology University we have been working together. And from other corporate side, we have Pioneer, who has been helping us out. Chitkara University has been supporting TiECon, and they're doing very amazing stuff in the region. NABARD has been supporting us. My organization, Bullseye, has been involved. And not the last, but ISP. ISP has been a constant and great support to the TiE ecosystem. And together, I think from academia side, we are trying to do our bit together. So thanks to all the TiECon partners who have made this possible. And as Niharika said, the theme is adapt, overcome, and improvise. See, nobody is almost around last year. We were in the same time in a very difficult situation. What is going to happen to our lives? We are in a total state of flux. And I think till now, we are living in that state of flux. There are companies which have shut down. There are people who have been cribbing, but there are companies who have grown. There are companies who have pivoted. There are companies who have shown excellent resilience. So let's learn from some of these people. And especially, for example, the title of Swiggy is very interesting. So how this company has overcome those challenges and improvised themselves. So the theme is very relevant for the ongoing situation, which is adapt, overcome, and improvise. So we have a lot of panels. For example, we have a panel on EdTech that will be in fact today only. Then we have a panel on fintech. We have a panel on artificial intelligence. We have a panel on funding. We have a panel on agri-tech. Punjab, very important agri-tech, because that is the way actually we can go to the next level. So a lot of panels, a lot of master classes. We have professors from ISB. We have professors from Dr. Wen from University of Michigan. And these professors are going to take master classes. You have that. So golden opportunity to interact and listen to them. Then apart from this, we have from the organizations, from the national, international organizations, their CEOs, CTOs, CSOs joining. And the companies include Accenture, Ola, Swiggy, Facebook, Zoom, Clovia, InMobi, to name a few, and the list goes on. So this event has been curated very well. We have on the one side corporate, on the other side we have academia, ISB, IKG, PTU have been supporting us, Chitkara University. Another side we have government. So Punjab government is there, STPI is there. We have NABARD, we have GIZ. So all stakeholders are involved in this entire TiECon, which have been curated. And as surprisingly, Mohali is growing not to the imagination of people, and those people who are not from region have been attending. Let me tell you honestly, Mohali is growing. I have recently shifted to Mohali office. Trust me, 3 years back, this place was barren piece of land in terms of, there's no building. Today, in my area, there are 15, 16, 7-story building. and almost occupancy of 30-40% in just last 2 years. That gives us a tip of iceberg how the things are moving fast. And I'm very sure, the way we are, the Mohali is growing, the way Punjab government is putting effort, way TAI is trying to do. And one more important thing is that Punjab government is coming out with Punjab Innovate Mission. And we are fortunate that after this session, after I'll be finishing this inaugural session, we have Mr. Pramod Bhasin who will be coming and speaking more about. So Punjab has been, land of opportunities. Punjabis have been famous for entrepreneurship and jugaad, but I'm sure we will move, up the ladder from jugaad and make it the real thing, not only jugaad. And so very good news from the region, because not only is growing, STP incubations, a lot of incubations have come up, a lot of co-working spaces have come up. We have been talking to so many people in last, almost 1 month run up to the TiCon, and we have done events for almost more than 30-40 ground level virtual events. Not only ground level is not possible this year, and trust me, we are getting active support from everyone, and I'm very sure all of us will be able to do our bit and make not only this event successful, but overall we want our Punjab and a land of opportunity grow. That's where I would like to finish my inaugural point. And thank you all. Keep hooked for 3 days. A lot of action is happening. Thank you very much. Over to you, Niharika.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful, wonderful address. I remember a quote from your talk which says, "Uncommon people have an appetite for service." Now, this was said by J.R.D. Tata. And of course, as you mentioned, giving back to society is the best thing that we can do for ourselves and also our soul. And of course, always a pleasure hearing those first few words from the TAI president himself, setting the contest, giving us a glimpse of what is about to come our way. Now, before we move further, I must also take the time to wholeheartedly thank our sponsors and our partners for their support and their love. Without it, this would not have been possible. So in no particular sequence, I would like to extend our thanks to ISB and also to our bronze partners, Hit Bullseye, Chitkara University, and NABARD, to our silver partners, STPI and Pioneer, to our platinum partners, Government of Punjab and Startup Punjab, and to our gold partners, GIZ India and Punjab Technical University. Without their love and support and care, this event wouldn't have been possible in this new and improved avatar. Hopefully, we'll be back to our physical events soon after all this has passed. Now, speaking of the upcoming, the state of Punjab is on its way to becoming an entrepreneurial hub and hotspot. And perhaps in the minds of many, it already is one. And rightfully so, because with the correct initiatives being implemented, one such key initiative being the Punjab Innovation Mission, which was set up quite recently. The focus on some key factors such as agri-tech, food processing, healthcare, pharma, biotechnology, life sciences, gaming and sports, and many, many more. And today, it is our pleasure and privilege to hear the very first chairperson of the Punjab Innovation Mission, who also happens to be the chairman of Clicks Capital, talk about what's in store in a candid heart-to-heart fireside chat with our moderator, who is an ex-IS officer and now a motivational keynote and TEDx speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Pramod Bhasin and Mr. Vivek Atray. Over to you, Vivek, sir, to take the session forward.
Thank you, Niharika. Thanks very much. And Pramod, welcome to this session. I don't think we have much time. Hirdesh has already given a longish speech, so we'll do the best we can. And TiCon 2021 promises to be as hectic and frenetic as all the previous editions I can see. But quality is what matters. And Pramod, coming directly to the point, I've seen you, we've met over the years. GE and Genpact were obviously your babies, if I can say, and then you've moved on to leadership of accelerators and associations and federations, and also started up Clicks Capital. But now this very exciting new development, Punjab Innovation Mission, relatively new. Why don't you talk about your journey quickly and then jump to the Punjab Innovation Mission?
Vivek, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here. And I want to thank TiE Chandigarh and everyone associated with TiCon, as well as the government of Punjab for having me here. It's a real pleasure, a real joy. I'm a good Punjabi at heart, fundamentally, right? I may have spent 25 years living all over the world, working, and then 25 years after that in Delhi and other parts, building Genpact all over the world. But at the end of the day, Punjab is a state that I love, that has given me so much. So let me start with why am I here, and thank you for giving me that open idea. And I appreciate we're short on time, so I'll keep it short. I had the good fortune to think of the idea of BPO and Genpact. We built that up into a very large company. Genpact today employs 100,000 people in 26 countries around the world, has a market capitalization of, I think it's like 75,000 crores at this time. So from zero to that has been a fantastic journey. I left it many years ago, but I, of course, follow it, and I've been and I've been lucky enough to be a shareholder, but also a colleague and friend to many of the people who run it today. I was also the chairperson of TiE NCR, so I know TiE well. I have a great deal of pride in terms of what TiE has done, and I'm delighted to be here with TiE Chandigarh, and I hope I get to meet everyone at TiE Chandigarh far more often. I'll start with the startup scene, if I may, Vivek. Please interrupt me anytime that you like. I'll start with the startup scene in India. India is already number 3 in the world, may already be number 2 in the startup world. And by that, we mean in the number of startups that are coming through, in the hubs that are happening, as well as now in what they call unicorns. Unicorns which are valued over $1 billion, of which there are about 50 already in this country. By the way, last year itself, we had another 10 to 15 unicorns join the entire list, even during COVID times. And this is a representation of India, its entrepreneurs, its opportunity, and the recognition of what technology can do. Many of them are technology pieces, but by the way, there is a very large misnomer in the world that all startups, most startups are technology based. If you go to Israel, you will find that's not the case. Their startups are based on healthcare technology, agri-tech, education, visual arts, 3D science, and financial technology, as well as pure software-based, software as a service kind of technology. So the opportunity in India is enormous. And I think India is going to be, I really believe this, I think India will be number 2 soon and probably lead with any country in the world, including America, ultimately in this startup journey. There are a number of reasons for this. One, of course, we have many levels of poverty in our country, but we also have a rising middle class, a middle class that has grown out of poverty, and an increasing number of people joining the employability area every day. Every month, there are 700,000 to 1 million people joining the workforce, and all of them are ambitious, they're hungry, and they want to make a mark, and they want to make a name for themselves and a career and a life. That spirit and the demographics of India are fantastic. Our education has been strong in some areas. I think there is enormous room to go for our education system to get much better. Enormous. Schools, colleges, mein sab mila ke. Yet, if you look at many of our colleges at the upper tier level, as well as, for instance, if you look in Punjab itself, the entire area of Mohali is becoming such a center. Excuse me, please. My apologies. I'm one of the founders of Plaksha University. I'm coming there next week, in fact, Monday and Tuesday, to come and meet many of the people related to the Punjab Innovation Mission, as well as the university campus itself. And that entire area with ISB and the IITs and the Thapar Institutes and many others are becoming such a hub. And that hub is the catalyst, I believe, that can drive the entire startup movement.
Yeah.
Why are startups succeeding? One, because they're easier. When we have problems of ease of doing business across India and many states, including in Punjab, obviously a startup can overcome them, particularly with the advantages of distribution through technology. Two, failure is no longer considered a negative act. And that's a very important element that has entered everyday culture. When I was spinning off Genpact from GE, my mother told me at that time, she said, Beta, tu pagal hai. You're going to leave a company like GE and join this new company. Aapka dimag theek hai? And she asked me twice. And when I said, yes, mera dimag theek hai, I'm doing the right thing, she went to the rest of my family and asked them to try and convince me. So in the past, the whole nature of startups was such, the whole nature of new businesses was such that we didn't really accept it. But today, failure, when I am hiring people, Vivek, I look for people who have failed quite often in a startup, who have tried hard and failed. So that stigma of failure, wo chala gaya. The third thing I would say is access to capital. There is more than enough money in this world now, Ji. And there is more than enough money coming into India. And so people are hungry. Financiers, venture capitalists are actually hungry to find fantastic startups. We've just had a roundtable and a dreaming session amongst some of the most eminent people in India for the Punjab Innovation Mission to ask them their part. Many of them came out and said, what we lack is the ability to find good startups. It's not the money, it's not the ideas, but the people. Because at the end of the day, it is the people that form the heart and soul of the startup. India is at the forefront, at the cutting edge. Aap kuch kehna cha rahe hain? Please interrupt me if you.
Yeah, well, you have come up very well with the pan-India vision and how startups are doing well in India, and it's not only technology, and also that money is not what is lacking. But if we come a little bit, because we are in Tycoon Chandigarh and we are talking about Punjab also.
Absolutely.
So 3 words, the Punjab Innovation Mission, are actually missionary words in a way and visionary words, because Punjab is known for innovation. As a Punjabi, a person is typically innovative. And he also has, or she also has, missionary zeal.
Absolutely.
But there is obviously, Pramod, something which is still lacking, the X factor which is missing in this region, although it is building up. And there's no doubt that things are getting much better for startups and the ecosystem is developing. What is it that is still lacking, and what can we do in the next 2 or 3 years to take it forward?
I'm glad you asked me, because this is exactly what I would love to talk about. I'm very fortunate to be the chairperson of the Punjab Innovation Mission, something blessed by the Chief Minister and the Cabinet, and very importantly also by, of course, Vinny Mahajanji, Alok Shekhar, others who are speaking at this conference. I'm working very closely with them. It is a unique model, Vivek. I must tell you, you as an IAS officer would know this. This is a public-private partnership where the government is really funding us and allowing the private sector to take this forward. So they're providing us the fund, but we're actually leading the charge in terms of how those funds are used to build up this entire mission. There are 3 aspects. I'll back up a little. The tragedy of Punjab has been that despite the startup phase in the rest of the country, it has not caught on in Punjab. And yet we know Punjabis are entrepreneurial, they are bright, they are energetic, they have ideas, they have scale, they have everything going for them. Punjab for years, for so many decades, has always been fighting well above its weight limit, as you would say, in terms of size. If you look at Punjabi culture, food, media, movies, songs, agriculture, Punjab has been, its influence is at the forefront of everything in India. If you go to America and you want Indian food, it's Punjabi food that they're eating. It's not other food. And so our influence is enormous. And so it has always distressed me that Punjab has slipped behind in GDP rankings in India, has slipped behind in the startup movement. We don't need to go into all the reasons for that. I'm sure there are many, many debates on that. That's not our role. My role, therefore, is, and this came out of the Monte Ahluwalia Commission, which was set up by the Chief Minister to look into the economic growth of Punjab. And this idea of building a startup ecosystem in the Punjab Innovation Mission is something I came up with at that time. And I said, look, we need to propel a mission which helps startups and builds the ecosystem in Punjab in a way that has never been done before. I was very fortunate that the Chief Secretary, Vinny Mahajanji, picked up on it, and she asked me in the meeting with the Chief Minister if I would chair the session. I was delighted to say yes, and that's my goal, and that's what I do now. There are three aspects to it, if I may say that. One is what we call the pollinator, and this is I'll tell you a expression created by Anurag Tiwari ji, who's the secretary also in the Punjab government. And the pollinator is really helping all the accelerators, the universities, the startups, all of them come together in a way that allows them to connect the dots, spread the word, create some excitement, create some magic around this notion of startups, encourage people to think about startup, and then connect them with the diaspora across the country, across the world. We have already connected with people in the US, in the UK. I've connected, in fact, with this dreaming ideation session we recently had 2 weeks ago. We've connected with people from Israel, from Estonia, to learn from them, to get examples of how these things are done. And so the pollinator will be one major event where we hope we can have webinars, lots of sessions, mentoring sessions, work classes, training sessions for people, all kinds of activity which encourage startups and which help connect the dots between a startup and what they need in terms of going to market, going to arranging for financing, understanding how to run a business, etc. The second one will be the accelerator. This will be a physical and a virtual accelerator. The government again has been fantastic. They have given us land at Calcutta Bhavan, not land, they've given us a long-term lease at Calcutta Bhavan. Ye airport ke bahut paas hai. Many of you will have seen it, many of you will know it. We will be taking over those floors, couple of those floors, using them to build the accelerator. But very importantly, the accelerator will also be a virtual accelerator. Under this umbrella, we hope we can work with every other accelerator in the state of Punjab. Our aim would be that whatever programs we have would be shared across the board so that it's not something reserved for the Punjab Innovation Mission, but it is really a pollinator in the way it works because it continues to pollinate every area that we touch to get people excited about the startup world. And the third area would be, we want to set up a fund. Again, the Punjab government has been exceptional. I must tell you, this public-private partnership is unique. And every time I've worked with the government, especially Alok ji and Anurag Tiwari ji and many other people, all the people in Invest Punjab, with the overall support of Vinny Mahajan, they have been fantastic. They have opened every door for us, allowed us to do everything. I haven't seen anything like this in all my years before. So I can only thank them, and we will continue in that spirit. But the fund is a fund where the government itself will take a 10% stake. It's a 150 crore fund, which we will be setting up over the course of the next year, principally to provide funding to startups which are based out of Punjab or will build an office in Punjab, or will be startups which are perhaps working elsewhere, but which we can help bring back to Punjab. So part of my mission, as you asked, which is very important to mention, is I want to bring back many of the startups which are working elsewhere and say, come to Punjab. There's an excitement, there's something happening, there's something new. We want to make the incubator, accelerator, and the pollinator experience very real. So if they need help from global chairs, if they need a Sequoia head to come and talk to them, if they need somebody who's built businesses like a Ajay Banga or a Vindi Banga or so many others that I work with, Devinder Brar, Bobby Bedi, Manoj Kohli, all of these people have agreed, by the way, to join us and work with me on the innovation mission. With that caliber, we want to put them in front of the startups and say, when you need us, let us help you become big, learn how to scale, get access to financing, etc. Lastly, I would just say, and I'll turn back to you, we want to do this across the sectors where Punjab is strong. We're not trying to repeat what happened in Gurgaon or Bangalore. Punjab is strong in agriculture. Punjab is strong in textiles. Punjab is strong in sports. Punjab is strong in food, in media, in entertainment. And those are the areas where we want to help build startups and make real and encourage startups to be formed and to be able to scale them over time. We need everyone's help, Vivek. I want to ask for everyone's support at TIE. We need everyone's help on this. We will be open to all comers, to all ideas. I'm coming out there. I will be coming out there very regularly. And we want to create a buzz and excitement about this, which basically tells the youth, startups are great things. There's enormous opportunity in India. There is even more opportunity in Punjab itself. And within the state of Punjab, I want to tap into the youth, the expertise, the smarts, the energy, and the entrepreneurship of our wonderful state. And I hope we can build something truly special over the next few years.
Very well said, Pramod. In fact, you've encapsulated everything so well. You actually answered my next question about the verticals. You already covered the verticals that you're likely to press upon. I have two quick observations, one on the lighter side. You obviously didn't use the word G much in your corporate career, but here you've learned to use it with the government G. But of course, GE must have prepared you for the G part.
Bilkul.
but all in good humor. But the second part of it is that not only Punjabis, the ecosystem may perhaps become such that anyone from anywhere in the world will be willing to pitch in, willing to pull in his efforts or her efforts and come and invest. And for that, my next question to you is, I've been promoting industry investment for a long time myself, the IT Park of Chandigarh, other things. The people issue, the HR availability. The industry will flourish if we have the youth who can be employable and amenable to those positions which are going to be created. So how do we plan to do something about the employability of the youth and the skill gap?
I think it is a huge issue, as you quite correctly say. A lot of the people I talk to who have looked for startups in Punjab all say that it's finding those people that is hard. It's finding those startups that is hard, which is why, we need to work with universities. We need to work at the university level on courses for entrepreneurship. We need to go to existing startups. Many people who may be running a small business may not think of themselves as a startup, but they are. They are starting up themselves. They're doing it on their own. So our aim will be to go out and find them in many cases and say, look, we are here. We can try and help you. We would love to show what you can. We would love to show the world what you can do. For instance, some examples, there are 3 companies from Punjab which are going to Y Combinator right now. Now, Y Combinator, as many of you may know, is the foremost accelerator in the world with an astonishingly wonderful reputation for the kind of companies it has built. Those are the types of companies we want to go to and say, look, of course, go there. But in the meantime, we can also build bridges for you, which really help you get what you need. Most startups, we've done extensive surveys, Vivekji, with incubators, accelerators, and startups as to what they need and what they lack. Most of them are very clear. They lack market access. They want to understand who to connect with to be able to open a market or to sell their products to. They want to know who to go to for financing. They want to know basics about how do you build a business plan and look for money. They want to understand how to do marketing, how to build an organization, all the basics that you would expect. So I think we have to be able to help them with those kind of training schemes. But your point about people and startup, we have to start at the ground level in colleges, and start talking to them about the excitement of a startup, show them examples. I'm hoping that over time, we can really showcase, not over time, but very soon in 2 or 3 months, showcase the top 5 startups that have come out of Punjab and show everybody else in Punjab. Look at what they've done. The words of Nandan Nilekani always stay with me when I met him in Bangalore. And he turned to me and said, Pramod, why are so many Punjabis coming to Bangalore to do their startups? Why aren't they doing it in Punjab? And so I swore to myself at that time, I said, I'll get them to Punjab. They will not go to Bangalore. Now, there are many reasons they go to Bangalore, including talent, including software qualities. You can't find those in Punjab. I know that. But there are many other areas in media and entertainment. You're not going to find them in Bangalore. You may, I guess, but not to the extent you can in sporting goods in many areas. So let's pick on the strengths of Punjab. Let's pick on strengths of Punjab. And that's really what we should think about, I think, as we go forward.
Absolutely said. And, it's the ecosystem which matters. I've been laboring. People have been working for this region. The number of takeoffs from Chandigarh today is about 30. And the infrastructure is so much more better than it used to be. The kinds of colleges and universities and schools which are cropping up or even being upgraded is very impressive. However, much needs to be done on this industry, academia, government partnership, which has to be so meaningful and so regular in its effect. So what happens is that a student of the first year and then the second year, he is clueless about his career. He is being taught things which are probably archaic. If the industry can get involved with him from year one or her, second year, third year, fourth year, and then that graduate is amenable to what is required by the industry. So a lot more close work is required with the university and the industry working together, not only in technical institutions, but even arts graduates, even people who can speak well, communicate well, think well, and then that entrepreneurial spirit. So I think going forward, you probably plan a lot of work, more work with the educational institutions at the ground level.
Vivekji, you've said it exactly right. See, when we did a survey of accelerators and incubators, even in Punjab and around the country, the fact is 90% don't work. They don't work for a defined set of reasons. They either don't have any money, and therefore they just become a workspace, which is not what you need. Many startups, by the way, don't want to move to an accelerator. They're very happy they have the space. That's not their need. Two, connecting the dots doesn't happen. So if somebody says, can you help me go to market in this way? Unfortunately, the people who are running that can't actually make that happen. And therefore the startups kind of say, well, okay, that's not helpful. Three, the actual people involved in the accelerator may not have the knowledge and the experience that you need to build a business themselves. So I hope that with this Punjab Innovation Mission and the power that they have, not the power, but the access that they've given us and the support they're giving us and the power of the people that we can bring together, G. And that to me is a fundamental thing. If I can bring together a wonderful mix of industrialists, government senior government bureaucrats, academicians, as well as professional businesses, and bring them to the table to think about these problems, I cannot imagine that in time we won't succeed. This is a long-term nature also, though, I must emphasize. It's important that we show short-term success, but it is also realistic to say, this takes time. This takes time to build, but the success is very sweet at the end of it, assuming that we will get there, and I'm sure we will. I am certainly completely dedicated to it, Jay. I'm spending a lot of time on it. I'll be in Chandigarh Monday, Tuesday. We'll be spending more and more time there every 2 weeks or so, because now it's time for launch. We started this 5-6 months ago. Kafi ho gaya. Now it's time for launch.
Yes, Pramod. So now we've been good in conversation. In 25 minutes or so, we probably covered everything. You've been fantastic with your ideas. One parting shot in a couple of sentences for young entrepreneurs. Many of them are young TIE members. Many will tune into this maybe later as well. Your advice, 1 or 2 tips to a young business professional or an entrepreneur. What should he do in life?
India is full of opportunities. There are so many areas in India which require where the market has a need. Be it financial services, be it healthcare, be it textiles, be it sports, be it agriculture, be it agri-tech, be it education. You can go on. The joy of India today is the tragedy of India. The fact that we have so many things that should be improved, that should have better products, is actually the biggest opportunity in front of us. So I would recommend highly to people that they think about startup. They think about a new idea and starting a new business and not be afraid of it. All of us come from a background. I started Genpact from scratch. It's a massive company. I had a different level of training, perhaps, and I had the benefit of GE with me for some of that time, not for long, though, because it was mainly my idea. But for a new startup, if you've got an idea, chase it. The world wants to hear your ideas. The world is ready to finance it. Get yourself trained up. You can go to the internet, you can go to colleges, you can go to incubator. Come to us. We will set up our websites very soon. Come to us and we will help you grow and scale and become very big. And I promise you, in that, you will have an enormously, even if full success doesn't come to you, please have no fear of failure, because the opportunity today in India is so vast and so broad. And even if you have a misstep, you will only get stronger for it as you go forward. I always tell everybody, India sits at the edge of enormous opportunity. It's really up to the youth and the spirit of Punjab and Punjabis to pick that up and take it forward. And frankly, make Punjab an attractive place for everyone. Last point I would just make, if I may, Chandigarh is a wonderful place to stay. Amritsar is such a historic town. Punjab is full of such history. Why shouldn't it attract more people to come and live there, to enjoy the hospitality and the warmth of this wonderful state? Why does everybody else have to go to other parts of the country? So that's my parting message as well. Stay there. There's a lot happening. There's a lot going to happen.
Thank you so much, Pramod. I think we've had a wonderful conversation. You've been very verbose and very, very capably. You've announced everything and explained everything. I think you need to get those websites going quickly. People are going to show a lot of interest, and I'm sure they'll be in touch with you and your team. I wish you well, and I'm very thankful to TIE and TICON for having invited us, and Hirdesh Madan, the president of TIE, and all the past presidents. I think it's a great organization. We wish you well. I think Pramod and I both would be very happy to see this ecosystem develop further. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you, Vivek, so much. Thank you, everyone at TIE. Really appreciate it.